There is a hidden world inside every single one of us. It's this bustling, living ecosystem that has a say in everything from our digestion to our mood. So today, we're going to go deep inside and explore this fascinating universe, the gut microbiome. To really wrap your head around the scale we're talking about, just think about this. The cells that make up your body, they're completely outnumbered by the bacteria living inside you. It's wild, right? We're not just individuals. We're more like walking, talking colonies. And here's the number to back that up. 100 trillion. That's a number so huge, it's almost impossible to picture. Trillion, with a T. And believe me, these guys are not just passive hitchhikers. They are very active players in your health. So this entire collection of bacteria, yeast, fungi, and viruses, that is what scientists call the gut microbiome. And here's the really cool part. Your microbiome is totally unique to you. As unique as your fingerprint. No two people have the exact same one. Okay, so if our gut is an ecosystem, we've got to understand the main players, right? Let's start with two words you've probably heard thrown around a lot: probiotics and prebiotics. The difference is actually pretty simple when you break it down. Probiotics, those are the good guys themselves, the live, beneficial bacteria. Prebiotics, on the other hand, well, that's their fuel. It's the specific kind of fiber that these good bacteria just love to munch on. All right, let's get a little more official for a second. The scientific definition has a few key parts. They have to be live microorganisms. They have to be given in adequate amounts. You need enough of them to actually do something. And, most importantly, they have to provide a proven health benefit. And for prebiotics, the magic word here is selectively. This is super important. It's not just any old fiber. We're talking about specific compounds that selectively feed your good microbes, which in turn gives you that health boost. Probably the easiest way to remember all this is to picture your gut as an inner garden. The probiotics, those are the seeds, the flowers, and veggies you want to grow. The prebiotics, that's the amazing, high-quality fertilizer that makes sure those good plants grow strong and crowd out all the weeds. But what happens when those weeds do start to take over the garden? Well, this brings us to a really critical concept in gut health. What happens when things get out of balance? Yep, that imbalance has a name. It's called dysbiosis. It's basically a disruption of that mini ecosystem where your good microbes start to lose ground and the potentially harmful ones start to take over. And that's when problems can really start. So what causes this? Unfortunately, a lot of things in our modern lives can throw our gut off kilter. It can be lifestyle stuff like high levels of stress, smoking, or a diet full of processed foods. But it could also come from medical things like taking antibiotics or even just catching certain viruses. All these can really disrupt that delicate internal harmony. Okay, so we know what happens when things go wrong, but how exactly does a healthy gut work its magic? What is the biological superpower of a balanced microbiome? Well, the answer is all about what these good bacteria produce. It's this beautiful little three-step process. First, you eat those prebiotic, high-fiber foods. Second, your good gut bacteria get to work and ferment that fiber. They basically eat it. And then, in the third and most important step, they release these incredibly powerful byproducts called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short. Now, there are a bunch of these SCFAs, but these three main types do most of the heavy lifting. You can think of them as the superheroes of gut health. They might have complicated names like acetate, propionate, and butyrate, but trust me, what they do for you is what really matters. So what is their job description? Well, for starters, they provide the main fuel for the cells that line your colon. They strengthen your gut wall, acting like a bouncer to keep harmful stuff from leaking into your bloodstream. They're also powerful anti-inflammatory molecules, and they help create the protective mucus that lines your intestines. In short, they are absolutely vital. And look, this isn't just a nice theory. The scientific evidence here is strong. Tons of clinical trials show that using the right probiotics can have very specific, proven benefits. They can help prevent things like traveler's diarrhea, or the kind you can get after taking antibiotics. On top of that, they've been shown to help manage symptoms of IBS and even help push serious conditions like ulcerative colitis into remission. And the benefits go way beyond just digestion. Research has linked a healthy microbiome to a lower risk of eczema in children and even to getting fewer colds and other respiratory infections. But maybe the most fascinating part is the connection to our brains through what scientists now call the gut-brain axis. It just goes to show that what happens in your gut doesn't just stay in your gut. It affects your mental health too.
Which brings us to the most empowering part of this whole story. If we have this inner garden, how do we actually tend to it? Let's get into some clear, actionable steps you can take.
So here are 8 proven ways to support your gut garden. A lot of this comes down to just foundational lifestyle choices. Eating a wide variety of plant fibers, getting enough sleep, managing stress, moving your body. Then there are the more direct things, like adding fermented foods, prebiotics, and probiotics. And finally, it's about playing defense, avoiding things like smoking and the unnecessary use of antibiotics that can really harm your microbiome.
So, the ultimate takeaway is this. Your microbiome is a dynamic, living part of you. It responds to how you live and what you eat. It's not set in stone. It's an inner garden that you have the power to cultivate every single day. The only question is, what will you choose to grow?